Niners' perspective, it seems like they are so eager to give Bosa whatever he wants, but real hesitant with Deebo. Why do you think it is from their perspective? How, if I'm correct, how do they make this calculation?
Wait, repeat that.
My question is that the Niners seem more than eager to give Bosa 82 million guaranteed, but Deebo asking for maybe 60 million guaranteed is a huge problem. Why? Why?
Because I think Kyle and maybe his thought process, and I think he knows exactly how important Deebo is to this team. But I'll never forget this quote, and it was from someone in like Shanahan's camp. But they said the offense makes the quarterback. The quarterback doesn't make the offense. And I think Kyle Shanahan might think that or have that same perspective on other positions as well. Running back, receiver, where it's like, yeah, like, okay, we got you, Deebo, and you are excellent. But like, I don't need you. I can do this with Ayuk and whoever the hell else. You know, as long as my
running back I'm going to
position
take in round 2 or whoever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that could be, and again, you know, I don't know, but try to think about it from Kyle's perspective.
Yes, I think from Kyle's perspective, outside of left tackle on offense, he can really, and maybe quarterback, he can really scheme up everything else. And so as good as Deebo is, he probably thinks you give me a couple of players, I can do a lot of what I did with Deebo. The thing that's special about Deebo is that he can do multiple things, but I can do that with other players. I'm that good. I just think it's a little, it's very arrogant. And I hope he's not deluding himself because he's gotten it wrong. I mean, he's made major investments in offensive players who've been terrible. So I just think he might want to humble himself a little bit and just feel grateful that you got someone like this. I mean, it seems hard to find Deebo Samuel. Everyone's looking for him. No one has him except for you.
Draft good players. You know, you draft good players. You're supposed to do whatever you can to keep them.
And
you
it's
don't
like
want to get in that situation like Diggs. We just talked about Diggs and him going over to Buffalo. But remember, I mean, he was kind of disgruntled. Now, it seemed like more of a direct correlation to the quarterback situation with Kirk Cousins. Yeah. But just in general, whether it's contract negotiations, quarterback, whatever, you know, guys like that, man, you want to do whatever to pay those guys.
To me, this whole thing with Deebo feels personal, and it feels like we're missing something because the Niners have bent over backwards to make any player who's had a couple good years in their team the highest paid player at their position. Fred Warner, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk. They have no problem doing this. They do it all the time. But
even what they did with Quan Alexander. I mean, they made him one of the highest paid linebackers in the NFL.
I mean, Trent Williams, he deserved it. They do this all the time. And they're proud to say we have 5 of the highest paid players at their position in the league. Why Deebo? Why is he the one guy that they're like, wow, who do you think? You haven't proven it. 1 good year, all these injuries, yada, yada, yada. Like, they've always looked at their own players so favorably. George, we developed you. You're the best at your position. Deebo, like, who do you think you are, Deebo? Who do you think you like? Was he not supposed to be confident like everyone else? Like Fred Warner has no ego, right? He does everything the right way. He wanted to be the highest paid middle linebacker. He didn't change anything on Instagram, but we look at Deebo differently. Why? Because his name's Deebo? I don't get it. It seems so weird to me. I think people are maybe being a little biased.
Yeah.
Being a little biased. And I think it's unfair. I think the team's using it against him. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping here. But I feel bad for Deebo a little bit. I think he's getting screwed. I think he's getting screwed big time. And I tried.
He's your favorite player. Like, dude, he's my brother's favorite player. My brother's a diehard Cowboy fan. Like, Deebo is one of his favorite players.
He's like the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL. Like, he's elite at 2 things: at pitching and hitting. You know, receiving and running. I've never seen a player like this. When I compared him a couple of years ago, I said, this guy kind of reminds me of Percy Harvin. He's so much better than Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
Way better than Percy Harvin. And Percy Harvin could have won an MVP. El Jefe says, Crocker, do players adjust contracts for ring?
Yeah, there's some guys, I mean, once they make enough money, but I mean, before I think about anything like that, or probably like a lot of these guys, I need at least, I got to cash in on my second big contract. And once I get that second big contract and money is just not an issue, because this is the thing, Deebo hasn't made a whole lot of money.
I think he's made $6 million, and half of that goes to taxes and agents and stuff.
Right. So over
$3 million.
Yeah, $3 million over a few years, which is that. I mean, that's good for the normal person.
Yes.
But when
It's
you
gotta
are a
last
person
after
that's
life.
probably a lot of people kind of depending on you,
Yeah.
maybe you buy your parents a house, maybe you have a house here and there. He probably does a lot of moving around. He wears the Gucci and the, what I'm
True.
saying? He wears all the
Spends.
expensive
He
clothes,
spends.
like $1 million a year, which to us probably, oh, like, man, I'll take that. But to him, it's probably like, that's not that much money. So I'm not going to adjust my second contract to fit whatever y'all trying to do. Now, once I play out this contract and he makes 100 million or whatever, then okay, I got 100. I put money away. I did good with my investments. I bought my house, my mom's house paid for. Now I might be more willing to be like, all right, I'll take a little off the top if this means we're gonna, I'm gonna get that championship.
The real smart move is to marry a supermodel who's richer than you. That's what Tom Brady did.
Tom
Also,
Brady.
like Tom Brady made like 200 or 300 million dollars and married someone richer than him, and how he's like, I'm generous. I'm gonna give a little bit back to the team so we can win. It's like, dude, what are you talking about, man? You're the richest man in the world. But yeah, you're a generous guy. So yeah, once you get to that level, you can do that. Keneal says Deebo equals Steph, Bosa equals Durant. Me and you used to argue about who was the most valuable player on the Warriors. GSW Bosa as edge rusher is probably better per se, but Deebo is more valuable due to his gravity, big playability. Man, I agree. Thank you, Keneal. I love it.
Man,
I love it. But
man, I ain't even gonna get. I know there's a lot of Warrior fans on here. I don't want them to start blocking me or anything like that. But
Crocker's a Lakers fan. All right, I'm done.
yeah.
Jacob says, I pay Deebo and next year trade Bosa. I say pay Deebo and next year trade Bosa. I'd rather take
No,
Deebo.
pay them both. You got a rookie. You got a quarterback on rookie contract.
Yeah,
you pay them
true.
both.
Your franchise is worth almost $5 billion. You're not the Raiders. You're not the Jaguars. You print money. It's just about wanting to pay it. The thing with Bosa is here's my thing with Bosa. I guess we're gonna talk about it in a minute, but real quick, look what happened to Trent Williams. Trent Williams is worth what he makes. He's the best. You can't say he's worth less. But in a salary cap league, if you spend money on the top left tackle in the league, are you going to end up with 4 question marks on the rest of your offensive line? And if so, is that what you want? That's my question. And with Bosa, if you're paying him $30 million a year, are you going to end up with him, Eric Armstead, and a couple of question marks on your defensive line? And is that what you want? Because what the Niners have going for them is an endless wave after wave of pass rush, 4 deep. I'm just saying. So something to think about.
Well, one thing they can do is kind of take the approach of the LA Rams. And, they got some guys that they pay or whatever, but they've been doing a really good job of drafting and developing as well. So, if you are going to spend more money on Bosa and Deebo and Williams and all these other guys,
draft well.
Do good with your drafting, which they've done well, getting production out of guys.
They have. Isaac says you've been saying it. We'll take numerous players to replace Deebo. If we can trade him for those 3 players, if one goes down, you still have 2 to produce. If Deebo goes down, we have nothing to fall back on. That is true. If Deebo is so important, I mean, I think he was like 30% of the offense in terms of like yards last year. And we saw in 2020 when he was healthy, Nick Mullins beat the Rams. When Deebo was out, the Niners really, really struggled. Really struggled. I don't know. Does that mean you get rid of him because he's so important, or does that mean you just stop playing him at running back, or you get? I don't know. Tough one.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I would add a receiver that I want to be a guy, just to kind of alleviate some of the, I don't want to say pressure on Deebo, but not have to utilize him. Like I was so high on drafting a receiver 2nd round. People are like, oh, you don't need a receiver, and I look at it as like, man, like I want 3 guys because and George Kittle. Because if something happens to Deebo, I need 2 receivers on the outside that I strongly believe are legit, like starting caliber receivers.
And you're not going to be able to sign all these guys to $30 million a year contracts if they're all good. Eventually, you're going to probably have to trade one or pick one, and probably a good thing to just keep drafting and developing because they're worth so much. I mean, you could draft a wide receiver in round 3 every year, and if every 3 years one of them's an all-pro, I mean, you could turn that guy into multiple first-round picks if you needed to, or you could just have an all-pro wide receiver, and that's good. One thing about what Isaac's saying here that's interesting to me is, again, the internal logic of his statement is Deebo could get hurt again. Deebo's going to get hurt again, which he may. What about Bosa?
Yeah.
No one says that with Bosa. You can't say that about Bosa. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. All right. Murphy says, and then we'll keep going. Would you trade 1 Super Bowl for 10 years or no playoffs? I think fans would. Nowhere ownership would. Not truly winning. About revenue, Rams would though.
I
10 years.
I've actually had this conversation. I would, if you told me ahead of time, like your team won't go to the playoffs for 10 years, but you will have one Super Bowl right before that, I'd take the playoffs because I enjoy watching a good product on the field. I enjoy feeling like my team, at the very least, has a chance to win. And I know you do it for Super Bowls, but to go through those years that 49ers fans went through in the past, like, man, that's trash. Or even like the Chip Kelly year or the Tom Sula year when you just have zero chance at all. Like, that's terrible. So give me the playoffs, because at least you get like high moments watching your team. You won Super Bowl. Listen, I bet you Philadelphia Eagles fans, they don't give a damn about that Super Bowl a few years ago. They probably forgot about it already. They want to. They would love to consistently be in the mix for a title every year.